This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today, live from the field, is the CEO of Hannan Metals, Mr. Michael Hudson. Mike, it's great to have you back on. How are you, sir?
No, I'm great. Australia's coming out of lockdown, and I'm very happy to be back with boots on the ground with minimal restrictions.
Congratulations. Obviously, literally hard-fought freedom. So I'm happy for you. I'm happy for Australia. Congrats on that front. And Mike, I have to say congrats on this morning's news. The last time you and I spoke in September, I described the news as game-changing. And I also described it as news that the market did not understand or appreciate. And here we are on November the 4th, the day that we're recording this, and you had more news today that, again, I believe is game-changing. And so I will read the headline and then I'll, state my disclaimer up front and say, I'm not a geologist, so I'll let you explain it to me. But it seems like game-changing news to me. And the headline reads, Hannan radiometric dating confirms Miocene porphyry belt at the Previsto copper gold project in Peru. For those of us that are not technically inclined, can you please explain to the audience why this is so important? And then let me note that this is on the 100% owned Previsto project in Peru. This falls outside of the JOGMEC joint venture. And so, again, I think it's game-changing news. Am I wrong? I don't want to be hyperbolic, but it seemed that way to me.
It is game-changing news, without a doubt. It's game-changing at an industry level. It's game-changing at a metallurgic understanding of South America level. And it's game-changing for Hannan, the little company that has found a lot of copper already at very early stages. And it puts it into context in a way that you could only dream about. So what have we done? We've taken 10 samples for radiometric dating, and the science around radiometric dating is very well established now. And we take a mineral called zircon, and we measure the amount of uranium and lead in those zircons at very minute fractions. And because of the wonders of zircon, it doesn't suck up lead when it's forming. So if the lead's there, it's become as a product of radioactive decay of uranium just naturally, and that happens everywhere in every rock. And then we know the time frames around decay of radioactive daughter products, and we can measure the time pretty specifically. So you can see we put out a whole range of ranges from 12 million to 20 million years, plus or minus 0.2 million years. The detail doesn't matter there, but I just thought I'd go into the science a little bit. But the key point is that age range is what we call the Miocene. It's a moment in time ago in geological time scale. It's very recent relatively. And that time band is what forms the major deposits in Peru. The major porphyry copper deposits, the major epithermal deposits. Peru is the second largest copper producer on Earth, and the majority of that copper comes from these Miocene age intrusions that form that copper, and the gold, I should say, as well. So what is special about this is that we're working way east, a few hundred, about 120 kilometres east of that specific band of rocks that is Miocene aged, where the majority of these metals are sourced for the world. We've rewritten the geological textbook in a way here that there shouldn't be these aged rocks out there, and it's been not looked at really ever before with this sort of consistency. And the best analogue is Bajo de Alumbrera, which is a large copper mine. It was found by the Lundines many years ago. It was 120 kilometres inboard from the major arc, the volcanic arc, where most of the mineralisation was formed in Argentina. In a similar way, if you trace the Andean chain up north to Peru. And that rewrote the geological textbook for Argentina. And there's some sort of transfer structures or cross structures that mean that the subduction and the way that tectonic fabric has evolved in the Andes, which we don't really understand that well, means that these younger intrusions can form way inboard, in this case into the high jungle areas of Peru that we've never understood before. So we've got a huge land position, more than 1,000 square kilometres. We've got the dominant position. We've blagged taken stream sediment samples and bulk leach extractable samples over the whole area. We've got early stage magnetics from Petro Peru. So we've staked the bejeebers out of it. I'm going to look forward to your translation on that when it's put into text. And we've got the advantage. So that's a long description, but it is putting all the copper and gold that we found to date. We're getting samples, early stage samples, up to 25% copper, 7 intrusive centres that we found. It puts them all into context as the same age that we see further west that has been so productive for the globe.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But I understand that you took 8 porphyry samples within an area of 140 by 50 kilometers. Is that accurate, Mike?
Yeah, we took 10 samples,
10.
8 of which came back as the Miocene age, 2 came back as earlier intrusions, which is normal to see also, right? So that's not unexpected, but 80% of them were Miocene age. Now, we were just hoping for 1. We got 8. And they were just representative porphyry intrusions with the low grade leached copper and gold that we'd sampled, and we put those in over the larger area. A lot of them focused on that Previsto Norte area, which is more advanced, and we got a good spread. So on any scientific means, and then the eventual exploration outcome, that's a very meaningful set of data.
Phenomenal work. Congratulations again. Thank you for the context. Is there anything else that you'd like to add? What can shareholders expect between now and year end?
Well, the key point is that we've just started to get the ground granted. So we have started to apply for these areas about a year ago, and now I think we've got 13,500 hectares granted, which allows us to go and work with the local communities in much more detail, bringing them along as we have in San Martin. If they want us there, we'll be there. If they don't want us there, we won't be there. So we've got to really work very hard to earn that credibility, and that's what we're doing now. So that's a key aspect, and we'll work with the local communities. And next steps will be to do a lot more advanced exploration when we develop plans with the local communities and fly very detailed airborne magnetics and run detailed mapping and soil sampling, etc., that will really focus in on this opportunity. So it's an exciting time alone on this project.
And I'm assuming that 2022 is the year that we'll see the drills turn after all of this excellent field work, correct?
In San Martin, we'll have the drills turning, and that's taken a year to permit a drill program there, and we hope we'll be drilling there at the end of Q1, start of Q2. In terms of drilling on this project, we will start that process very soon to permit. It's just a little too early to know where to put drill rigs yet, until we do those soils and mapping work over the coming months.
Mike, thank you so much. I'll let you get back to it. Appreciate the time and the update as always.
Thank you, Gerardo.
Be safe out there.